You know, in the world of AI, tools pop up and then they just fizzle out. It happens all the time. But every once in a while, something lands and just sticks. OpenClaw is one of those. The conversation around it just never seems to stop. So, what's the secret? What makes this AI agent so different? Well, let's get into it.
Right. So let's start with this question because it gets right to the heart of what OpenClaw is all about. This isn't just about having a slightly better chat with a bot. Nope. This is a total shift in the entire relationship. It's about what an AI can actually do for you on its own when you're not even looking. And look, this isn't some sci-fi fantasy. This is happening right now. People are using OpenClaw to automate huge chunks of their day. We're talking about an AI doing real, valuable work in the background while they're sleeping or stuck in traffic or, just focused on something else entirely.
So what's the magic formula? It's actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It comes down to two things. One, the agent is persistent. It's always on. And two, you can get to it from anywhere, usually just right from your phone. That simple pairing unlocked a whole universe of possibilities that older session-based tools just couldn't even dream of.
Okay, so to really appreciate why OpenClaw is such a massive leap, we kind of need to zoom out and put it in context. Let's take a quick look at how fast AI assistants have been evolving just over the last few years. It's been a wild ride. It's crazy to think that back in 2023, we were all amazed by stateless chat. It was revolutionary for sure. But every single conversation started from a total blank slate. Then we entered Era 2, with agents that could do multi-step tasks, but only while you had that browser tab open. Now we're in Era 3, where OpenClaw lives, and it's all about proactive, continuous help. It's a move from AI as a temporary tool to AI as a permanent partner. And this table really lays it all out. An Era 2 agent is basically a tool you have to actively use. The second you close your laptop, it stops working. But an Era 3 agent, that's a true assistant. It can run a super complex task for you at 2 in the morning, notice something important just landed in your inbox, and have the results just sitting there waiting for you when you wake up. Totally different ballgame. So what made it all click? Well, it was like the perfect storm. You've got that always-on process, super easy access from your phone through apps you already use, and then, this is huge, a thriving open-source ecosystem. Anyone could build and share these little extensions called skills on a marketplace, and you weren't locked into just one AI provider. That combination just created this incredible, unstoppable momentum.
But, and this is a big but, with all of this incredible power comes some pretty significant risk. We absolutely have to talk about the security challenges that this new level of autonomy brings to the table. Here's the paradox, right? The very things that make OpenClaw so amazing are also what make it so vulnerable. An agent that can read your email, mess with your calendar, and plug into other services has a way bigger attack surface than a simple chatbot. And the community, well, they found this out firsthand. And these weren't just theoretical what-if scenarios. No, 3 very clear patterns of attacks started to emerge. You had agents going rogue and taking unapproved actions, malicious code hiding in plain sight on the skill marketplace, and, get this, attacks being delivered through something as simple as an email.
Now, this first pattern is fascinating because it isn't even malicious. See, to manage its memory over long periods, OpenClaw has to compress old parts of a conversation. The danger is that a really critical instruction you gave it, something like always, always ask me before deleting anything, can just get lost in the squeeze. So the agent isn't trying to cause trouble, it just thinks it's following the rules. And that can lead to absolute chaos.
Okay, so ClawHub. This was the community marketplace for skills, and it was a huge reason why the tool became so popular. It let people easily tack on new abilities to their agents. But it also opened up a second massive security hole. Since literally anyone could publish a skill, attackers just flooded the marketplace with malicious code dressed up as popular tools. So you might think you're installing a handy Google Calendar sync, but what it's really doing in the background is swiping your API keys, which are basically the secret passwords your apps use to talk to each other. And it can do that because it runs with all the same permissions as your legit tools. Scary stuff. The third major threat is prompt injection, and this one is subtle and really, really dangerous. Think about it. If your agent is hooked up to your email, an attacker can send you a message with hidden instructions buried inside. Your agent reads the email, follows the malicious command, and it all happens before you've even had your morning coffee.
So after all that, you might be thinking, is this thing just too dangerous to use? Well, no. The community figured out a playbook, a way to build an agent that's both incredibly powerful and safe. And it all boils down to putting security first, right from the very beginning. There are really three core ideas to this whole approach. First, you isolate the agent on its own dedicated server. Second, your very first job is to verify its security. And third, and this might be the most important one, you grant it autonomy slowly. You build trust over time.
This is just the perfect analogy for how to think about this. I mean, it's just common sense, right? You'd start a new hire with small, low-risk tasks. You'd watch, you'd verify, and only once you've really established that trust would you start giving them more responsibility. It's a relationship that you have to build.
Now, the foundation of this whole security strategy is something called a VPS, or a virtual private server. Don't let the name scare you. It's basically just a cheap computer you rent in the cloud that runs your agent. And this is so crucial because it's completely cut off from your personal laptop, your work files, all of it. If anything ever goes wrong, the problem is trapped inside that little digital sandbox.
All right, so let's see how this all comes together. Let's talk about one concrete, actionable first step. This is how you can actually start your journey with OpenClaw the right way, the safe way. I think this is such a powerful concept. Instead of immediately giving your new agent a job to do for you, your first assignment for it is to secure itself. It completely flips the script and establishes that security-first mindset right from the jump.
So, your very first conversation with your agent should literally be a security audit. You ask it to report back on its own environment. This initial chat isn't about productivity at all. It's about building that foundation of verified security and, most importantly, trust. And that right there is the key takeaway. Look, OpenClaw is a massive leap forward in what AI can do, but using that power responsibly is everything. By starting with security, by building that trust step by step, you don't just get a powerful tool, you get a reliable one. And the question then becomes, what are you going to build with it?